Our next speaker is Mr. Olivier Coutau, the delegate to International Geneva. After 15 years as a field delegate of the International Committee of the Red Cross, Monsieur Coutau now has a very different job, leading the Canton of Geneva's efforts to support international organizations, permanent missions, NGOs, many of you in the room today. Monsieur Coutau, thank you for being here, and over to you. Let's hope your microphone cooperates.
It seems so. Thank you, Reba. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I see three reasons why the opening of tonight is a good news. Number one, connection with the field. I explain. Geneva is enjoyable, a nice lake, a spectacular view on the Mont Blanc, a relatively safe environment. But Geneva is also host to a number of organizations dealing with a less pleasant environment, with armed conflicts, with natural disasters. This is quite a contrast. And the risk is that it is not only a contrast, but also a gap between the realities in the field and the headquarters here in Geneva, where the policy decisions are taken. So, to avoid this gap, information is needed. Information is available, and it's not like in the old days of the humanitarian action. Now there is plenty of information, all sorts of information, maybe too much information. So what is necessary is not the quantity of information, but the quality of information. And I believe that it is especially true when it comes to humanitarian organizations. The mission of humanitarian organization is quite simple, after all, to assist and protect the victims. But the implementation of this quite idealistic objective is much more complicated. Humanitarian organizations have to deal with states, with belligerents, with other organizations. They have to deal, and this is probably the most daunting challenge, with security risks. So the question is, in such a complex environment, how do you deliver without compromising your mission? So I think that the answer is, first, that you need principles, strong principles, but you need also information, good information, reliable information, accurate information, relevant information, timely information. And this is probably here that IRIN can help, thanks to its network of correspondents in the world, thanks to its news, to its analysis. IRIN can provide humanitarians with the information they need to make the proper decisions. So this is the first reason why this is good news that you are here. There is another possible contribution of IRIN to International Geneva. Today we have 50 different IOs, NGOs, academic institutions involved in humanitarian activities here in Geneva, which have made the choice of Geneva for their activities, 50. The good news is that there are many different players. There is no monopoly. They are quite diverse. I mean, their priorities, modes of operation are different. The less good news is that even if you have a number of coordination platforms, it might be difficult to find a place of actions which is perceived as being neutral or not connected to one organization or one group of organizations. And I believe that this is something else that IRIN may offer, a neutral, independent venue for informed debates about humanitarian issues. Finally, I see a third possible contribution. I would like to mention it even if I understand that it is not exactly within at the core of the mandate of IRIN, but my sense is that the general public also deserve to be better informed about humanitarian activities. Eva just reminded us that $20 billion or Swiss francs are spent every year by humanitarian organizations. That's a lot of money. Most of this money comes from the taxpayers. And I believe that in a democratic society, it's quite normal to make sure that information about why and how this money is spent is made available. I'm sorry, I realize that I might sound like I'm trying to define IRIN's mandate. It's not at all my, it's not at all my role, but all what I wish to say is that there is definitely a place for you here in Geneva, and that expectations are high. You are welcome.
I don't know why you stopped at only 3. You could have kept going.
I could continue, but you gave me 3 minutes. Huh?
I should note that just as Monsieur Coutau sees that IRIN can contribute to Geneva, Geneva has certainly contributed to IRIN, and the reason that we chose Geneva and Switzerland as our new headquarters is that this is a country with a very long and rich humanitarian tradition, as the ambassador alluded to. And Geneva in particular, in our very short time here, has already provided us a range of opportunities in terms of partnerships, in terms of new reporting streams, and we've found it to be a really welcoming home. Thank you again to a government that has opened its arms and really supported our establishment here. Since this is our launch event, I will allow us, or I hope you'll allow me to toot our horn a tiny bit, because as Monsieur Coutau said, the expectations are high. I think IRIN has punched above its weight a fair bit. People are quite surprised when I tell them we have a staff of 12 people that is having this kind of global influence. Our reporting has prompted debates in parliaments in Egypt, has prompted new funding programs in Uganda, investment in cyclone-proof housing in Vanuatu. We've testified before UK Parliament, inspired charity telethons. We've consistently flagged brewing crises before they erupt. We were the first media outlet to send a journalist to Darfur back in 2003 before the word genocide became headlines around the world. We raised the alarm similarly in Somalia months before the 2011 drought and famine, and many, many other examples. Our materials have been found in classrooms in the US and as far as refugee camps in Guinea, where teachers were using IRIN reports, if you can imagine, to teach Liberian refugees about their country's recent history. So when I hear stories like that, it really helps us all, I think, be motivated to continue the work that we do. And then a small note that our work is then further amplified by mainstream media and local and regional newspapers around the world who cite and republish us. And we are often a catalyst for media to then look into issues that were previously neglected. So in a day and age where media narratives are dominated by Donald Trump's latest scandal or a cat video that's gone viral, I think the kind of journalism that we do is increasingly rare. So for more on the state of the world today, did you like that transition? I will now turn to our keynote speaker of the evening.